Good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon race review, really, isn't it? It's sort of us tearing apart what happened today and trying to work out who the heroes and the villains are. So let's start right at the beginning. What happened in the start then, Brian?
Well, in America they have a type of start they call a racehorse start, where everybody gets in a circle and somebody shouts go and they peel off, and that's pretty much what we got today. We had 20 gliders in the same circle, 70 knots, all going round and round and waiting for the moment. Peeled off beautifully and streamed through the start line. It was a very beautiful start today, Shaun.
Giorgio, I know you were busy during the start, but you joined us halfway down the first leg. A number of people tried to make a break for it. Talk us through what you saw.
Yeah, I saw not the start or before the start because I had a countdown call to make, but I just had a look at the glider just after the line, and it was fantastic because they are all together, all very straight, so nothing strange. It was a very ordinate start, so I was happy. When I came with you at the media center, it was interesting. Many pilots tried their own way. We had several people choosing different way, but probably not because they were thinking it was better, but just to try to escape the group and to try their own way. And this means pilots have now very clear the idea that they have to try something. If they want to win, they have to try.
But the interesting thing about the breakouts, we saw Ricky trying to break out. We saw Lawrence, he tried to break away, he tried to go round to the north. He was actually first at the first turning point. We saw Giorgio try to break away, and we saw Rasmus going completely his own direction and having a nice flight on his own. But every time the same thing happened. They got reeled in by the guys flying together. And it's really difficult in a racing, in this situation, to see how you can get away from people in front. Do you think it's possible to get away, Giorgio?
Good question. We were just discussing with Tilo at the bar, and with Ricky, and they said, "Yeah, I try all the time I can. I try to escape, but the gaggle get me immediately." Yes, but this is not a normal gaggle. This is the gaggle of the best 20 pilot all over the world. So this is clear. The gaggle, it's a fast gaggle.
With the breakaways, catching them up, bringing them back in, reeling them back in. It was all really down to the last thermal just before the last turn, where we saw Max, Rommel and Sebastian, Christophe Rouche. It was anybody's race, but Max just managed it to keep a really cool head and push out in front. What did you see, Brian?
Well, actually, they stayed together nearly the whole flight. Right from the beginning, it was looking pretty obvious that each of them had made the decision that they needed to be together. They weren't going to lose the other guys. And Sebastian knew that what he had to do was get ahead at the end. For the entire flight, they sat high, they sat on top of the gaggle, they managed it really well. They started to pull away at the last turn, exactly when you should pull away, just when there's not really much chance of being caught. And what was really interesting then is that Max pushed out ahead. And I was really surprised because he's a young pilot, he's inexperienced. You'd have thought he's been very stressed by the fact he's lying in the top position of the competition, but he seemed to fly really coolly. And he went out in front and he stayed out in front all the way back. And I think that's really remarkable for a guy like that, don't you?
It's absolutely fantastic the job he's doing in flight. It's now quite clear, for me it's quite clear, if you want to be in the first position at the end of the competition, in a competition like that, you need to be very clever. You cannot make stupid things because tasks are short, are fast, people is very good pilot. If you do a mistake, you pay. There is no way you don't pay a mistake in this kind of competition. It's too short. There is no chance to get around and find another way. Then if you get the chance, you need to take. Tilo won in this way, Giorgio won in this way. You can win in this way. But the other days, you have to be very clever. You have to calculate how much risk you want to take about that, how many points you can gain. Because maybe with the decision, you take 2 points more. And with another one, you can lose 5. So it's really tricky.
I do want to say about the final glide though. 2 or 3 days ago we talked to Sebastian, and he said he thought the ASG 29 was better at speed, and that if he could be a little bit if all the gliders could be high on the final glide, so the final glide was fast, then he would get ahead. And what we saw today was a good final glide, 1 in 32, 1 in 30, something like that, which means 200 kilometers an hour, all the way home. I thought at the time, maybe Sebastian's going to pull ahead because maybe he's right. But it wasn't the case. He just never got in front at all. And in fact, if anything, he started to slow down a little bit at the end. And maybe it's because he went through the northern side of the control point. Maybe he missed a little bit of energy just there. But it was quite interesting to see that the performance difference in the gliders is almost nothing.
Well, thank you, boys. That's a great roundup of day 6. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow on day 7 at the Sailplane Grand Prix in Varese.